Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for RT Wednesday, episode 2.
Yes.
Which we are doing 10 Little Roosters, episode 2. And we have already watched the premiere, and Jacob has made his first guess. If you watched the previous episode, Jacob was very much convinced that Gavin is going to die this episode based on the clue given in the poetry. Little ominous note for the rest of the evening.
Plus, it's Gavin, you know. So.
Plus, it's Gavin. You also said that you thought that the death was going to come by one of 3 weapons.
Yes.
The power of math, the 100% real life creeper suit, and the slow motion explosion.
Right.
So we're going to just get right into it and see if your predictions ring true. He's going to be very much sleuthing this whole thing out. So I'm not helping him in any way. I have seen the show in its entirety before, just as a recap as well. So feel free to, leave comments and stuff like that, but please keep them spoiler free or I will have to delete them. Without further ado, yes.
Well, and I did rewatch the first episode just to get some additional clues, and now I'm pretty sure that the dude with the hobbit feet is the killer because the hobbit feet had the hair and stuff.
But how did hobbit hair feet get all the way into a glass of...
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's going to be some dummy hints out there. There's going to be some real hints out there, and it's our job to be entertained as he jumps on the wrong clue or jumps on the right clue. We'll just have to wait and see. So without further ado, let's get this started. King Ryan.
So it's you, Bernie.
No, I'm not the killer.
Why do you have the gun?
Because I'm an undercover cop. Yeah, that's right. I've been on the trail of this murderer for years. First 6 months, I spent with a vocal coach, learning to speak in this ridiculous accent you're hearing right now. See, the night my partner was killed by the murderer, I made him a promise. He was laying on the ground in a pool of his own blood, and he said, "Bernie, I'm dying." And I said, "I know." And he said, "Bernie, call me an ambulance." And I said, yeah, because, I don't know if you remember this or not, but calling plans back in the day, they were brutal.
Especially you're roaming?
Yeah, roaming. Yeah. It's like, we didn't know where we were in the service area.
Just catching a big gun.
We're chasing a perp down. And he said, "Bernie, please, just use your radio. It's right there. Just do this and call an ambulance." I said, "Well, that's the thing. You want me to call an ambulance, but really an ambulance doesn't go any faster than a regular car. The only thing that makes them even slightly faster is the fact that traffic gets out of their way and they don't have to stop for stoplights." Anyway, my partner died, but before he died, he said, "Bernie, I need you to avenge me." And I said, "Now that I can do." Started hatching my plan back then. It's all coming to fruition now. I call it Operation Murder Banquet under a giant glass dome. They cut my budget.
Barbara, what are you doing? Oh, thank God you heard the distress signal. Get off the floor.
Why? Are we pretending it's lava?
No, we're pretending there's scorpions, snakes, and spiders on it.
Why would we pretend that?
Because there are.
Ah! Jesus! Why?
Some asshole let all the poisonous animals out of Joel's office. I managed to contain the jellyfish and the blue ring octopus, but let the scorpion, cobra, and spiders get away.
Why didn't you focus on the last 3 though?
Because jellyfish are poisonous as shit.
But when they're on land, they're kind of out of their elements. Like, "Oh, I'm a jellyfish. Like, oh, I'm sting you. I'm sting you." It's not very scary.
I was acting fast. I had very little time.
Sorry. God, why couldn't Joel have just had something cute and cuddly, like a cat? That would have been perfect. God, I could use a cat right now.
Lindsay. Lindsay, don't get into this again.
Wait, so Michael was just a...
He's an actor. Yeah, a paid chump that I hired.
So Michael's not really dead.
Oh, no, yeah, he's dead.
So your solution to catching the killer was to lock him in here with 9 potential victims.
Hey, I don't need your feedback. This is a ship in motion. Things are going to happen. We're bobbing and weaving. We got this.
Oh, easy for you to say. You're practically guaranteed to survive.
I'm old and gross, dude. I could die anytime. I could die the shit out of a death.
You already know you're gonna survive. It's gonna be red versus blue all over again.
You know I actually die in Red vs. Blue, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's the first thing that happens in the show. I get killed by a tank. Have you never seen the show?
No, I've never seen it. No.
You achievement hunters, you guys stick in your own bubble and you only pay attention to yourself. And listen to me, now I'm breaking character. 6 months worth of vocal coach, right down the fucking drain thanks to you guys. You know what, Ryan? Everything everyone says about you is exactly right. You are a bad king.
It's Mad King.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna take my chances on my own. Wait, the poem, was that you as well?
Oh no, that was the actual killer. My penmanship is terrible.
Good to know.
Lindsay.
Lindsay's lost it.
Lindsay.
Sorry. All right, you go out that door, I'll go out this door. They can't chase us both, right? Good luck, my friend.
Godspeed.
There's multiple
Oh my God.
creatures.
Okay, right. Now, just relax, Miles, all right? You got this. You can survive one silly night of murder. But what if I can't? Relax. You've beaten Skyrim 8 times, and you got all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic the Hedgehog too, so I can do this. I just need to put myself
Chaos
in Ruby mode.
Emeralds, the ship
What
name
would Ruby
reference, yeah.
Rose do? This will be the day I waited for. You've got this. Nothing is going to bring you down. Nothing is going to break your spirit. There's no challenge you can't overcome, and there's no... Holy shit, mousetraps. Jesus, that was close. Well, I think it's obvious what I have to do. I've been fighting the impulses for so long. It's time. It's time to put on the suit.
What do you want? I know what you want. It's written all over your face. You want to play a game of riddles in the dark. Well, I accept. The terms are this. If I win, you don't try and kill me. But if I lose, I shall give to you the thing that is most precious to me. My ring of power. I can tell by your smile that you want it. All right, answer me this. What is so fragile that it breaks the instant you speak? Damn it. Silence, you're right. You're good. What do you have for me? Clever. You want me to guess what you're thinking. All right, I'll play your game. You're thinking pants. That was not a guess. That was me thinking aloud. You are thinking that you wish you had spaghetti for breakfast. So what you're thinking is...
Oh, Gavin? Oh, thank God. I got my beard stuck in this door. Can you get me out of here?
I'm not Gavin. I'm Gavin too.
I don't give a shit if you're Gavin goddamn Infinity. Get me out of this door.
What if this is a trap?
Excuse me?
Well, what if you're the killer and this is a trap?
You think I would slam my own beard in a door to trap you?
Well, that's exactly what an absolute nutter would say.
I swear on the Queen, on Winston Churchill, Mr. Bean, and whatever else you dudes hold holy, that I'm not the killer.
Swear on Sean Connery.
I swear on Sean Connery.
No, but like do it with the accent.
He's not even English.
He's British. It's close enough.
I swear on Sean Connery.
It's actually quite good. Well done. All right, what's the plan?
I've got a bow and arrow stashed in my office. I have an idea for a brand new how-to. How to hunt down a psycho-murdering asshole without dying.
Awesome. I know what you're thinking. You're wondering why every time people go out, they never invite you. Maybe you dress up in weird outfits and you're a skeleton man. And maybe you do it because you feel safe. And you know what? That's perfectly normal.
No. Oh. You're wondering why, whenever you go talk to girls, that they are creeped out by you, and that whenever people give you advice, they say, "Oh, just be yourself. Oh, be yourself. Oh, but maybe being yourself is actually the worst piece of advice anyone could ever give you because girls are weirded out by that." That's what you're thinking. But you know, I mean, oh, I know what you want. It's called a poker face. How about you learn how to make one? You're wondering why it's your fault your parents get divorced. You know what? It's not your fault. Do you hear that?
It's going on Goodwill Hunting on.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's my fault. It's not my fault.
Oh shit!
What is that?
It's the official Gavin distress signal. I've got to help him.
Hey! Be careful! Be careful!
You tuned in? Gavin, where are you? Gavin, what? I heard the signal. I'm coming. Where
I
are you?
love the subtitles in this. They're British sounds of distress.
Oh shit!
So you were close. You were close. Not slow motion explosion. Yep. I mean, wait for it. Yes.
Bollocks. Although you could say that it was the power of math as well.
Alright, so you finished the episode, and you were right halfway. Gavin definitely is dead. Gavin 1, Gavin 2.
Yep.
Totally dead.
They did die in slow motion.
They died in slow motion, but I was so surprised when you looked at the weapon list that you didn't even consider slow motion mousetrap. I thought you just do the slow motion ones because you know they're the slow. He's part of the slow mo guys, or at least
That's
he
true.
started it. But it was like, yeah.
Well, what you gonna do?
Yeah. So he's super dead. But now we have a lot more clues that cross-reference with the first episode's clues. So, does that knock a whole lot of people off of your suspect list, or add people to your suspect list? What are you thinking now?
Well,
We go over highlights. We first have Ryan going for the
staple gun.
It's a nail gun actually.
Oh.
Or I could actually tell. It's probably a staple gun actually. It didn't look that intense, but yeah. Then he had a hammer and stuff, and then Bernie does the whole "I'm the main character of this show" override again.
And then,
so does that put those two out of the clear for being the murderer?
I would say that I definitely think so.
Okay.
I found it hilarious that, I forget his name. What's the guy in the Hobbit costume?
That's Chris Damaris, yeah.
Chris Damaris, yeah. I absolutely loved when he's talking to the dude who's like set up to obviously be the killer. I still think Chris Damaris actually is the killer, and that was just what's his name getting into his suit, into his costume.
Oh, you think that was Adam getting into his suit when he said he was going to get a bow and arrow, but this person had a gasoline and lighter combination?
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that, but, maybe that was some psycho person, in their defense stuff. Who knows?
What?
I don't know. Or maybe that was totally the killer. Yeah, I'm probably reading into it too much. But I thought it was hilarious that, they're setting it up so it's like, oh, here's the killer, but then, Gavin dies because, plot, Gavin has to die. And it's sort of like...
Well, no, you guessed it based on one tripped over themselves and then there were 8.
Right, yes.
So that means that these are the actual best clues that you have, because once you figure them out, you're guaranteed to know who's going to die next. So the next one is 8 Little Roosters, 2 Others in Heaven, which might be referencing Gavin.
That's
dead.
true. That's true.
One was martyred, and then there were 7. So who is that referring to?
Now that one's tough because I don't know exactly who out of all of Rooster Teeth would like die for a cause, or like die and be remembered, or something like that. The life imitated art, that definitely reminds me of either Gus or Barbara, because Barbara was drawing the dicks, and then Gus was talking about how he's a beautiful flower.
Okay, so you have a lot of people that you think are going to die after the one,
right?
who were
But the martyred thing, maybe I just don't watch enough Rooster Teeth, so I don't know. But
why don't you just take the characters that you have available to you and see which one makes the most sense?
So I don't think Bernie or Mad King Ryan are the killer, because they had their talk together, and because they're sort of debunking the thing that they would be too stereotypical, because Mad King and Bernie trying to be the main character, so they had him be the main character by being the cop. So there you go. And if anything, that might just be saying that Bernie's going to be the one that ends up surviving, because main character. That leaves, and Gavin's dead, and then Michael died in the first episode, or was that?
Yep.
Okay, so Gavin, Michael, Bernie, and Ryan out of the picture.
Right. So that leaves Adam, Lindsay, Gus, Chris, Miles, and Barbara.
Right. And then Adam was in a different place when the skull mask person showed up. Now, actually, if you just went by that, then the only person who wasn't shown this episode... Oh, wait. Oh, no, this makes it way easier. The only person not shown this episode was Gus. Unless he was in the costume, which means Gus would be the killer.
Interesting.
Which is interesting, because that was one of... if I recall correctly, that was one of the ones at the beginning where I was like, no, they're not going to make Gus the killer. That would be too obvious. Based on how, the clues were set up, of, him giving the guy the drink. But he wasn't shown this episode, so that's kind of damning evidence. That's... you can't really get past that. So
okay.
if it changes now so that Gus is the killer, then that would... Well, then he wouldn't be the person to die for the life imitated art. That would have to be Barbara.
Okay.
But who would be the martyr?
Okay, so based on all that, you think who's the martyr?
I think Chris is going to be the martyr.
Whoa, wasn't Chris going to be the killer though?
Well, yeah, but I mean, I was going for medium suspect originally, but I mean, they literally had Gus not be shown.
Oh,
this episode,
so you're like, nope, let's throw that theory out.
Yeah,
Gus is the killer.
Gus, and I didn't think it would be, because he seems, too obvious of him giving the person the drink, but after this episode, he's definitely the killer. So I think Chris Damaris is going to be the martyr because he's dressed up as the Hobbit, so the sort of the innocent figure that's going to die. And then I think he's either going to fall on his own sword, so sling the sword, or it's going to involve one of the episodes one of the weapons introduced this episode, so the gasoline and the fire, or the bow and arrow.
Or the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Chris the martyr dies either by the bow and arrow, the gasoline and fire, or his own sword.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very interesting. I like how you're able to not hold on too closely to your own kind of theories and stuff.
Yeah.
Everything's up in the air. But yeah. So 180. Next episode, Jacob's guessing Chris Damaris is gonna die by one of those 3 weapons. I'm quite curious though, at what point are you gonna start guessing just a single weapon and try to apply some kind of logic to it?
Well, the main reason I was thinking it would be Sting the Sword is because it's his own weapon, and that's sort of an obvious murder tool for him whenever the killer wants to kill him. But they did make a very they were very intentional about introducing new weapons in this episode.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You know, I'm guessing they're going to be doing that because they're going to be used later on.
For sure.
Some of them might be, you know, decoys,
But see, they introduced another one in here. Your
Snake of Joel.
Yeah, they introduced the Snake of Joel, and they introduced Sting of the Scorpion as well. So why not those weapons?
Well, it could be, and in a way that would make maybe more sense than say the bow and arrow, because if who is it? Ryan has the bow and arrow, or someone else had the bow and arrow.
Adam had the bow and arrow.
Yeah, Adam had the bow and arrow. The killer needs to actually be the one doing the killing. So any of the weapons that the people themselves are getting would have to get into the hands of the killer somehow. So, in that sense, maybe it probably will end up the snake of Joel and the Sting of the Scorpion probably will end up being used a lot more likely than say the bow and arrow, just because they've already been planted there, probably by the killer. So yeah, that is a good point.
All right. So in summation, we have your guess. Chris Damaris, one of those previous 3 weapons.
Yep.
And we'll just have to wait and see what happens next.
That's right.
All right, so until next time, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.